What up, horse racing fans? The day is finally here! Championship Saturday at the Breeders' Cup, the most exciting day on the whole calendar. This is better than Christmas, better than your birthday. This is a chance to make big dollars with the greatest horses on the planet. And we get to go to Churchill Downs, the Twin Spires, to celebrate the greatest in horse racing. The most exciting day on the horse racing calendar. Championship Breeders' Cup Saturday. Let's get right to it and make some cash. The first championship race is race 3. It's the Filly and Mare Sprint, 7 furlongs at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. The first horse on the docket is a very dangerous one, Salcourt, going off at 4-1. Jockey Tyler Blaze, trainer John Sadler. Now we're going to be using buyer speed ratings when we break these races down. Everybody, I know it's sort of an antiquated system, but everybody knows them. We won't be using the time form speed ratings that they give us in Europe. I don't want to confuse you guys about it, so we're just going to focus on buyer speed ratings for the North American horses, and we're going to talk about other things with the European horses and not use their time form ratings. Okay, let's get to work. Salcourt, very dangerous. A major pace presence, is capable of going gate to wire, and did that last race while posting a best last race buyer speed figure. Now, there is a but with this horse, and it is that she is on a 7-month layoff. That's why we're getting her at 4-1. If she wasn't on this layoff, we'd be getting her at 8-5 or 2-1. But I'm telling you, this trainer, John Sadler, has done this before. John Sadler trained the incredible female horse, Stellar Wind. And he was great at having Stellar Wind off of long breaks. Sadler will have her ready to fire. Mark my words, Sadler will have her ready to fire. Another big thing is that Salcourt beat the favorite in this race, Marley's Freedom. And Salcourt would be a bigger favorite than Marley's Freedom if she wasn't on this long layoff. It was 7 months ago, but Salcourt handled the favorite in this race. The last time that Salcourt took a long break, she came out firing, and I expect her to do it again. I'm on the number 1, Salcourt. Let's move on to the number 2, Miss Sunset at 15-1. Jockey Kent DeSormo, trainer Jeff Bondy, a high buyer of 97. All 10 of her wins have occurred when racing either first or second at the first call. So she needs to break much faster than what we saw in her latest. If she wants to make an impact here, she needs to break and come out firing. She has won 10 of 19 starts. She came within a nose of today's favorite in the Madison, Grade 1 Madison at Keeneland in April. She hasn't looked nearly as good since then. But she's on the 3rd race of her form cycle. There's too many question marks with Miss Sunset at this point, and I'm leaving her off my card. Let's go to the 3. Happy Like a Fool. 20-1 morning line jockey Luis Saez, trainer Wesley Ward, a high buyer of 89. 2 of her 3 wins occurred when racing on the lead, but she has stamina concerns at 7 furlongs. She tired 3 back in her only start at today's distance when she was dueling in defeat with similar rivals that she'll find here. She's coming off a second in the TCA. That was an impressive performance. This is a lightly raced 3-year-old filly. And when we're dealing with 3-year-olds, there's always going to be room for improvement. She's going to have to show an enormous amount of improvement here, and she's going to be off my card. Let's go to the 4, Kirby's Penny. This is an interesting long shot. Jockey Johnny Velasquez, trainer Wesley Ward, a high buyer of 92. She's produced 7 of her wins when racing 1, 2, 3 at the first call, with her latest score at a stalking pace. It's very important to be able to stalk in this 7 furlong race. She must show better stamina than in her only 7 furlong attempt. All 7 of her wins have occurred at shorter distances than today's. But she's intriguing. She's versatile. She can hang around a hot pace. She's proven that before. I would prefer to see her at 6 furlongs, not 7 furlongs. I can understand if somebody wants to take a shot with Kirby's Penny at 30-1. Now the 5 horse, a horse I like, a filly I like very much, Golden Mischief at 10-1. Jockey Florent Giroux, trainer Brad Cox, a high buyer of 101. Once was a mid-pack closer. 3 of her last 4 wins occurred when racing either 2 or 3 at the first call, so she now wants to be in the mix early. She's a stakes winner at today's 7 furlong distance, but, and there's always a but with these, or, you know, I mean, obviously the surefire favorites won't have these buts, but there's a but here, and she makes her first start traveling this far since May 2017. And that was here on the Churchill Downs dirt, and she tired in that race. Now, in her latest, she had a game victory. She rallied like she wanted to go this far. I think she's capable of going this far. She's won 4 of her last 5 races. Her tactical speed will be very helpful in this race, and she has that tactical speed. I believe in Golden Mischief, and she will be used in my exotics. Now the 6, Chalon at 15-1. Javier Castellano, trainer Arnold Delacour. High buyer of 93. Was once just a straight front runner. But she stalked the pace in her last 2 victories, and that's going to help her here. The main concern is 7 furlongs. She's tired both times that she's tried to go at today's distance. She just came second to Golden Mischief in the TCA. She's going to have to improve to win this race. I think she's better at 6 furlongs. Move on to the 7, Sky Diamonds at 10-1. Jockey Diego Pereira, trainer Bill Spar, high buyer of 99. Her last 7 wins were produced when racing either 2, 3, 4 at the last call, which was the trip she received in her latest victory. She returns to 7 furlongs where she's winless. And her last start at today's distance, which was here at the Churchill Downs dirt, she posted her lowest speed figure since August. I just don't trust Sky Diamonds in this spot. She was in better form when she was coming into this race last year. She placed 4th in this race last year. I think that her fastest races are behind her. Let's move on to the 8, Mia Mischief at 15-1. Jockey Ricardo Santana Jr., trainer Stephen Asmussen, high buyer of 97. Try to catch me is her thing. Try to catch me. All 4 of her races have come on the lead, including a big grade 2 score here on the Churchill Downs dirt. My fear with her is that she needs a stamina upgrade. Last 3 losses, she tired in the deep stretch. And that is a very reasonable outcome here, her tiring in the deep stretch. This track suits her, but if we know that distance is a problem, will she have to set too fast a pace to get there? There's a lot of good things with Mia Mischief, and I can understand people liking her at 15-1. I will be leaving her off of my card. Now the 9, Stormy Embrace at 20-1. Jockey Tyler Gaffalione, trainer Kathleen O'Connell, a high buyer of 97. 6 of her 7 wins occurred when racing 1, 2, 3 at the first call. So she needs to wake up and fire. She needs to fire right away. That's her best chance. She exits her lowest speed figure since October 27th. That's not good. But she, at this distance, she's fired before. She looked great in that last race at this distance. It was a 97 buyer. After that race, she took a long break. She came back and looked terrible as a big favorite. There's too many questions for me around Stormy Embrace. Let's move on to the 10, Highway Star at 20-1. Jockey Jose Ortiz, trainer Rodrigo Ubilo, high buyer of 96. 8 of her 9 wins occurred when she stalked the pace. 3, 4, 5 at the first call. She needs a pace meltdown and a very clean trip. And that's a lot to ask. She finished 11th in this race last year. Yeah, Highway Star will be rolling late, but she's just not as good as she was last year, and she placed 11th last year. Too many things have to go her way for her to hit the board. I will be leaving Highway Star off of my card. Let's go to the 11. Finley's Lucky Charm. Jockey Brian Hernandez Jr., trainer Brett Calhoun. She's a high buyer of 104. 7-time winner gate to wire. But her last 3 occurred when rallying from 2nd to 4th, which means that she's named improving Philly. It means that she's actually able to stalk now, and that Brian Hernandez Jr. has choices to make with her, so that if she doesn't go right to the lead, then he can make other decisions. That really helps in a race like this. But she's exiting her lowest 2018 speed figure, and that's the last thing you want when you're going into a championship race like this. But she is a horse for the course, and we will be using that term when we know that a horse can fire at this racetrack, Churchill Downs, and at this distance. Her last start on the Churchill Downs dirt snapped a 6-race losing streak. Snapped a 6-race winning streak over this dirt oval. She had won 6 straight races at the Churchill Downs dirt until her last start here. Now, one of the problems with Finley's Lucky Charm is that she would prefer 6 furlongs, and this is a 7-furlong sprint. She's another horse in this race To me, that looks like her best days are behind her. I'm not going to be adding Finley's Lucky Charm to my action. Now we get to the 12, Anonymity at 15-1. Jockey Flavian Pratt, trainer Richard Mandela, a high buyer of 94, was dueled into defeat in her last outing. It was disappointing. She was the heavy favorite in that race. She hopes to shake free early here, which is going to be so difficult because we've already talked about all these horses who need to go to the front. It's going to be very tough, but she has gate speed. All 3 of her wins were produced in gate-to-wire fashion, including 3 back at 7 furlongs. But she must prove it on the road. Today marks her first start away from California. She's going to be right on the pace. She's never been out of the exacta in 6 lifetime starts. This is a very special filly. She has raced only in grade 3s. And this is a giant grade 1 race. This is a big jump for Anonymity. I won't be using her. Now we get to the favorite, Marley's Freedom, the 13 horse at 8-5. Jockey Mike Smith, trainer Bob Baffert. A very, very dangerous duo. High buyer of 105. Once was a pure front runner, but she's changed her style. And 4 consecutive wins rallying from mid-pack. She snapped an 0 for 3 at this distance when winning a grade 1 in her last outing. She looked awesome. It was a grade 1 ballerina at Saratoga. She had a triple-digit buyer. That showed a couple things, but the main thing that it showed was that this Californian horse is fine shipping. And here she ships into Kentucky. The last time she met the #1 Selcourt, she got blown away by 4+ legs. But is she a better horse now? That's likely. Is Selcourt going to be able to fire off 7 months? To me, the big difference between these 2 horses is that you get Marley's Freedom at 8-5, or you could fire with Selcourt at 4-1. The 4-1 to me is much more appealing, obviously. Now, when she lost to Selcourt, that was before Bob Baffert took over as trainer. And you know Bob Baffert, he's the best trainer in the game. The pace projector, surprisingly, I couldn't believe this when I saw the pace projector, has her starting next to last. Which I don't think. I think she wants to be mid-pack. In fact, if she starts next to last, I'm going to be very confident in Selcourt holding it. And then the final horse in this race, the 14 Shamrock Rose at 20-1. Jockey Irad Ortiz Jr., trainer Mark Cassie, a high buyer of 86. Not high enough, not fast enough in this race. A big style change in her last. She rallied from 8th and it was her rallied from 8th, and it was her first ever 7 furlong start. She posted a new buyer top. It snapped an 0 for 3 dirt mark. She's fared well in previous graded stakes attempts, but this is a huge class test. First time in a grade 1. She has won 3 straight. It's a very tough outside post. She's going to hang back and make a late run, so it probably won't affect her. She wasn't one of these horses that would go to the lead. She has Irad Ortiz Jr., one of the best jockeys in the world, on her. She's stepping up in class against older horses, and that's a dangerous mix. Very, very exciting start to Championship Saturday. That's the first big race, the Filly and Mare Sprint at 7 furlong. Now we move on to race 4, the Turf Sprint at 12:38 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a 5.5 furlong sprint. Anything can happen in a 5.5 furlong sprint. If you got a feel on any of these horses I break down that you think are a live dog, jump on it. I'm telling you, on these 5.5 furlong sprints, it's wide open. And that mad rush to the finish line will be absolutely chaotic and nuts. You're also going to need a nice trip. Just 5.5 furlongs. You don't have time to fix a difficult trip. Let's break this down with the #1 horse, Ruby Nation, at 20-1. Jockey Florent Giroux, trainer Darren Miller, a high buyer of 100. Grade 3 winner, has been sharp in recording back-to-back wins prior to this, but she's going to need hope that a number of these don't show up with less than their best effort to have a chance to win this thing. The rail is not where you want to be in a 5.5 furlong sprint. This lightly raced 5-year-old has run the best races of her career over the last 2, and that's what you want. You want a horse to come into these championship races firing. She is firing, but she's going to have to take a big step up to make an impact in this race. The win in her latest was a grade 3, and it was her first graded stakes race win. Let's move on to the #2, Bucaro at 10-1. Jockey Fernando de la Cruz, trainer Tim Gleishaw, high buyer of 99, multiple graded stakes winner, beat today's rival Will Call in his latest outing. He barely hung on, looked tired in the stretch. But that rival is not his biggest concern in this one. He ran very well in this event last year. Let's take a quick look at where he placed in this event. Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, 4th. Wow, just 1 length out of it. It was Stormy Liberal won it, Richard's Boy 2nd, Disco Partner 3rd. A very impressive turf sprint. But this horse is 0 for 3 at Churchill Downs. This distance, though, at 5.5 furlongs, Bucaro is built for. Let's move on to the number 3, Hembry at 20-1. Jockey Tyler Gaffalione, trainer Michael Maker, high buyer of 97. This horse was claimed for 50 grand. Unbelievable. Great job by these connections. Fresh off a grade 2 score in the Near Arctic up at Woodbine. But this group that he's racing now is just of a different caliber. He'll need a career best effort if he even wants to be involved in that final furlong. Move on to the 4, Vision Perfect at 15-1. Jockey Javier Castellano, trainer Jason Service, high buyer of 105. Grade 3 winner, can put together a pretty sharp run on his best day. Vision Perfect is a dangerous horse, but might be better off going at 5 furlongs than 5.5 furlongs. That extra half might just be a little bit of trouble for Vision Perfect. He's not run longer than 5 furlongs all year. His trainer, Jason Service, has brought 3 horses to this race, and I find the other 2 more appealing, Rainbow Air and World of Trouble. We will break those guys down later in this. Now the 5, Disco Partner at 7-2. Jockey Joel Rosario, trainer Christophe Clement, high buyer of 109. There isn't any question that he's capable in a spot like this on his best day. But there might not be a starter in this field who is more negatively affected by the race being at 5.5 furlongs rather than 6 furlongs. Still, Disco Partner is a top contender. And a big note, see, one of the things that we use when we cap these races is we let the jockeys do a lot of the studying for us. And when a jockey chooses to ride a certain horse, it gives us a ton of information. And Ortiz is not on this horse. Ortiz is aboard another in here, and we will discuss that. I couldn't believe, I was very surprised that Ortiz wasn't going to, Irad Ortiz Jr. wasn't going to be riding Disco Partner in this race. Not that Joel Rosario is a bad horse, but I feel like Irad Ortiz Jr. is doing the studying for us. Was 3rd in this race last year. He left himself too much to do. In the sprint, this horse comes and stalks and comes from off the pace, and you need, so if you're going to back Disco Partner, you're going to need him to be somewhat close to the pace and not have too much work to do. He does not like the soft ground. That is the reason why I'm going to take Disco Partner off of my card here. There's going to be quite a bit of rain leading up to this race. It's going to rain Friday. It's supposed to rain a bit today. It's not going to rain Saturday, but the ground is going to be soft, and I don't think Disco Partner will like it. Let's move on to the 6, Rainbow Air at 12-1. Jockey Jose Ortiz, trainer Jason Service. This is I love these old horses. I just absolutely love them. This is an 8-year-old horse, a very dangerous 8-year-old horse with a high buyer of 106. Had back-to-back triple-digit buyers and was actually going to retire. They were going to begin breeding, but the owners had a change of heart. That is why there was such a big break between races. So I know a lot of people will be looking at that big break thinking, oh, was there injury issues? Was there some bruising, foot issues? No, it was they decided not to hit him, to just stick him in the breeding shed. He ran a prep race at the Parks in a grade 3 and looked very good. He is a live look. Jose Ortiz is on the call, a great jockey. Will be coming from off the pace. Distance isn't a problem. I find Rainbow Air very exciting. Getting that long number at 12-1. Rainbow Air will be used in my exotics in this race. Now we get to the 7, Lost Treasure at 20-1. Jockey Ryan Moore, trainer Aidan O'Brien. Remember when I mentioned this combination, Ryan Moore, Aidan O'Brien, extremely dangerous. Probably the most dangerous jockey-trainer duo in Europe. Group 3 stakes place Colt is ditching blinkers for this return to turf. That's interesting. It's worth noting how well he performed in a grade 1 turf dash in France just 3 starts ago. He's one of 3 3-year-olds in this field. It's very difficult for 3-year-olds to bang around with these older horses, but I like to see him getting Lasix. This is a uncomfort here. This will be his 5th race in a little over a month. Obviously, Aidan O'Brien knows what he's doing, but that's a lot of wear and tear. I think you're asking too much of this horse. The 8, Chanteline at 15-1. Jockey Ricardo Santana Jr., trainer Stephen Asmussen. High buyer of 104. She's a mare taking on the boys, and not just the boys, but the top male turf sprinters on the planet. Grade 3 winner has been on top of her game in recent starts. She's won 3 of her last 4. Her only loss during that span came versus today's rival, Ruby Notion. She loves this distance, but she also did not handle the soft going well, and I think it's going to be soft. The 9, Stormy Liberal, a very dangerous horse at 4-1. Jockey Drayden Van Dyke, trainer Peter Miller, back to defend his victory in this event last year. High buyer of 105, not only riding a 3-race winning streak, but he earned a career best buyer speed figure in his latest start. Stormy Liberal is dangerous. This barn has 3 horses in this race, including the runner-up finisher from the 2017 Turf Sprint. Stormy Liberal is 3 for 3 at this distance. Amazing tactical speed. Drayden knows this horse inside and out. Drayden Van Dyke knows exactly when to press the gas. Stormy Liberal, extremely dangerous. A must-use in my books. Then we get to the 10, Havana Grey, 20-1 out of Great Britain. Jockey PJ McDonald, trainer Carl Burke. Grade 1 winner sprinting over turf in Ireland. He earned that win over yielding ground in 59-2. He will get yielding turf here. His overall form looks solid. Gets Lasix for his USA racing debut. An interesting long shot. Havana Grey, an interesting long shot. And remember, anything can happen in these 5.5 furlong races. Let's get to the 11, a horse that I love. And also a horse that Irad Ortiz Jr. is on. Remember, we spoke about Irad Ortiz Jr. not being on Disco Partner. Disco Partner is at 7-2. Irad Ortiz Jr. chose to ride World of Trouble at 6-1. This is a 3-year-old horse that's getting better, colt that's getting better and better and better with every start. I am in love with World of Trouble, and I feel like Irad Ortiz Jr. has done a lot of the studying for us. High buyer of 103, multiple stakes winner, getting a major class test. Only 2 turf starts. They started his career on dirt. They moved him to turf. Buyers of 95 and 103 on turf, getting better each race. He's one of 3 from the service barn, but Ortiz is going to help. Now, he's never raced over this turf course. He's a 3-year-old meeting older horses for the first time. Those are questions that he's got to answer. World of Trouble, I think, will answer those questions. I'm in love with World of Trouble here at 6-1. Now the 12, Richard's Boy at 12-1. Paco Lopez is the jockey. Trainer Peter Miller, high buyer of 102. He finished 2nd in this event last year. He's one of 3 lined up in this field for the Miller barn. He will be adding blinkers. Pratt, who usually rides him, wanted to pilot Conquest Tsunami. Remember, these jockeys are making decisions for us. That alone makes me want to lay off Richard's Boy, because Conquest Tsunami would be different if he wasn't on the 14th post. But this horse can be good, very good on his best day. And Lopez is one of the best turf sprinters around. So it's not that with Rosario replacing Irad and Paco Lopez replacing Pratt, it's not that you're getting a worse jockey. It's that jockey is choosing not to ride this horse and to ride somebody else. And that helps my decision making. This horse, Richard's Boy, can't seem to beat his stablemate, Stormy Liberal. Did not look good in his prep race. I'm off Richard's Boy. The 13, Will Call at 20-1. Sean Bridgmahan, the jockey trainer, Brad Cox, high buyer of 97. A grade 3 winner racing over turf, but not sure that his best effort is strong enough to get the job done in this spot. Was beaten by Bucero in his latest start. He's 2 for 2 racing over the Churchill Downs turf, and Bridgmahan has won 43 of 154 mounts for this barn in 2018. That's 28%. But I will not be using Will Call, a very tough post. Now the 14, Conquest Tsunami at 6-1 would have shorter numbers if she wasn't on this outside post. Jockey Flavian Pratt, trainer Peter Miller, high buyer of 106, can be extremely quick from the gate and will have to be. Will have to be alert from the break, starting off so far outside. Might find himself leading them into the start. Will have to break alertly, as I said. Like to see Pratt sticking with them. Won 16 of 60 mounts for this barn in 2018. Miller has done a great job with this horse since taking over for Cassie. tough outside post, but will go to the lead. Looks like he does his best work on the downhill turf course in Santa Anita, and I'm not going to trust him or back him here. He's just got too many things going against him, and he's going to take a lot of money, and you got to decide which of these top horses you're going to leave off. Has stamina, would probably prefer this race to go another furlong. Conquest 2 Tsunami is a dangerous horse, could easily hit the board, but I will be leaving him off my exotics at this point. And that is your Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. Now we get to an enormously exciting race on this card, the Dirt Mile, race 5, 1:16 p.m. Eastern time. 10 horses in this race, and a very exciting Dirt Mile this year. The number 1 horse, City of Light, at 5-2, a very dangerous horse. Jockey Javier Castellano, trainer Michael McCarthy, high buyer of 107, has never been off the board in all 9 career races, but flopped as the chalk in his last 2 races. 2 races back was the favorite over Accelerate. Accelerate is going to be the favorite in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Not only was City of Light the favorite over Accelerate, but he beat Accelerate 3 races back in the Oaklawn Handicap. Accelerate is probably, or arguably, or will see Saturday in the Classic, the best or fastest horse right now in the world. This City of Light has 5 straight triple-digit buyers, has had 1 race since the end of May. They didn't know what to do with City of Light when he flopped twice as the chalk. Remember, if City of Light was really firing, he would not be in the Dirt Mile. He'd be in the Breeders' Cup Classic. They're putting him in the Dirt Mile to put him in a situation where he can win. Now, it's going to be very difficult. The favorite, the 10, Catalina Cruiser, is an incredible horse. City of Light at 5-2 is your first horse. Let's move on to the 2. Trigger Warning at 20-1. Jockey Ricardo Santana Jr., trainer Mike Rohn. High buyer of 94. Looked good in grade 3s. Placed 3rd in the Ohio Derby, 2nd in the Indiana Derby. Then went to run with the big boys in the Grade 1 Travers Stakes. Lost by 12 lengths to Catholic Boy. Tried it again in the last race, Pennsylvania Derby. 9 1/4 lengths behind McKinsey. Both those horses are going to be in the Breeders' Cup Classic. He does not have the class to run with these. He will try to get on the pace. I mean, you can put him in your exotics, but he may be best at these shorter distances, like the mile or shorter. I'm going to leave Trigger Warning off of my action. The 3, Isotherm, 20-1. A dangerous long shot. Jockey Giovanni Franco, trainer Phil D'Amato. High buyer of 97. Looked great in his last race. He went off at 57-1. Placed 3rd in the Grade 1 Awesome Again behind classic favorite Accelerate. 57-1, and he was right there. But he's won just 3 of 23 career races. He will have to show that the Awesome Again wasn't a fluke. And when I look at Isotherm, 21 career races, a 5-year-old horse, I'm not sure he's going to be able to recreate what he did. But if he does, he'll be on the board. And at 20-1, that's what you call a live long shot. Go to the 4, 7 Trumpets at 6-1. Jockey Robbie Alvarado, trainer Dale Romans, a high buyer of 97, undefeated at Churchill, 3 for 3 here at Churchill Downs. 3rd start on the form cycle, is facing older horses. There's a lot to like in 7 Trumpets. Coming off a grade 3 where he lost by just a length and 3/4 to Friends Fire. 2 back was in the Jerkins grade 1. Was just a length and 1/4 back from Promises Fulfilled. 7 Trumpets is a dangerous horse. I guess the reason why I'm not in love with him is because I think that Catalina Cruiser and City of Light are just so strong here. Let's move on to the 5, Awesome Slew. Jockey Corey Lannery, trainer Mark Cassie, a high buyer of 102. Placed 3rd in this race last year, but hasn't won since September 2017. That was 7 races ago. Just doesn't look quite as fast as he did last year. He is a 1-turn miler. I'm going to keep Awesome Slew off of my action. Now the 6, Seeking the Soul at 5-1, a dangerous horse. Brian Hernandez Jr. in the reins, trainer Dallas Stewart, high buyer of 103. Another horse on the 3rd race of his form cycle. Looked very strong in his last race, winning the prep for this race. The grade 3 Ack at this track and distance. Half of his career wins have come here at Churchill. He has never been out of the exacta at this distance. Seeking the Soul at 5-1 is a dangerous horse that I will be using in my exotics. The 7, Friends Fire, another dangerous horse. Friends Fire 6-1. You may remember him not firing in the Kentucky Derby. He got destroyed there, but this colt came right back to drop a 107 Beyer and winning the Grade 3 Dwyer by 9 lengths at this distance. High Beyer of 107. He fits in very well here. This is his first time against older horses. That's a concern. He's 3 for 4 at this distance. Friends Fire will be on the bottom of my exotics. Now the 8, Bravazzo at 20-1. Jockey Luis Contreras, trainer D. Wayne Lucas. You will remember Bravazzo from his very nice performance in the Triple Crown races. High Beyer of 97. His past 6 races have all been Grade 1s against the toughest 3-year-olds on the planet. 2 of his 3 career wins have come at this distance. He's been training very well on the local sod, but it's been a long, tough year. And there's a reason that he's at 20-1. If you had told me back during the Triple Crown run that Bravazzo would be in the dirt mile, I would say, ooh, that is so dangerous. He is so dangerous there. But he just doesn't seem to be up to this, I don't think. Now the 9, Giant Expectations at 15-1. Jockey Julien Leparoux, trainer Peter Yurton. High Beyer of 106, which he got in the Grade 2 San Antonio. He's not proven he can win in Grade 1 company. If you take away that stellar performance in San Antonio, his numbers aren't good enough to do any damage here. I'm going to be leaving Giant Expectations off. And now we get to the 10, the favorite, Catalina Cruiser. Extremely dangerous horse. Jockey Drayden Van Dyke, trainer John Sadler. High Beyer of 107, 4 for 4 lifetime. Look at his last 3 Beyers, 103, 107, 107. He won his last 2 races by a combined 14 lengths. Will he stop John Sadler's curse? At the Breeders' Cup, John Sadler is 0 for 41 as a trainer at the Breeders' Cup. Can this explosive, lightly raced 4-year-old change that? He's been training very well, never been challenged in any of his races. He may be made for this 1-turn mile. The time form hasn't projected to be on the pace. This is his first time shipping, which we'll see if he will handle. But I don't see how you can't have Catalina Cruiser either on top or definitely involved in all of your exotics. That is the BC Dirt Mile. That brings us to race 6, the Filly and Mare Turf at 2:04 Eastern Time. Let's start with the first horse, 4-Star Crook at 5-1. A very dangerous horse. Jockey Irad Ortiz Jr., trainer Chad Brown, a high Beyer of 104. He exits a co-field best Beyer speed figure on less than firm turf. Remember, that's what we're going to be dealing with on Saturday. 8 of her last 9 wins occurred when rallying from either 5, 6, or 7 at the first call. She should appreciate stretching out to her longest distance ever for this, and this is 1 3/8 miles. Saves ground, then makes 1 run, needs a clean trip and a pace meltdown to repeat. I don't know how, even if there's no pace complete meltdown, I think 4-Star Crook will be in the running. She has battled with the favorite Sister Charlie 3 times, winning once and coming second twice. She had every chance to get past Sister Charlie in the Grade 1 Beverly D, but could not do it. She came back to win the Grade 1 Flower Bowl easily. Now that was against questionable competition. This is a very solid horse, won 12 of 19 races. Now this is the hardest class test of her career, but she's in the best form of her life. I will be using 4-Star Crook. Now the 2, Thias. 20-1. Jockey Manuel Franco, trainer Chad Brown, high Beyer of 99. All 3 of her wins occurred when stalking the pace at 1 mile, so there's stamina concerns, stretching out to her longest distance today. She could be the rabbit in this race. That's what we're expecting. We're expecting her to go right to the front. Almost pulled off a stunning upset in her last race, Grade 1 Beverly D, losing to Sister Charlie by less than 2 lengths. Sister Charlie at 47-1, but she's been off since August 11th, which is a concern. Now the 3, Wild Illusion at 7-2. There's 2 European horses that have come in here that are extremely dangerous, Wild Illusion being one of them. William Buick, the jockey trainer, Charles Appleby. Love the versatility with the ability to either win on the lead or rallying from mid-pack. She won the Grade 1 Prix de l'Opéra, last out in France at 1.25 miles. 1.5 miles has proven to be too far for her. This is right in between those 2 at 11 furlongs. It might be that perfect distance for her. She beat the number 10 Magic Wand by a length in that race. Magic Wand came back and beat her at 1.5 miles handily. There's a reason why Wild Illusion is the favorite, a very dangerous horse. The 4, Paved at 20-1. Jockey Joel Rosario, trainer Michael McCarthy, high Beyer of 97. 2 of her 3 wins occurred when rallying from 7th at the first call. She needs a complete pace meltdown to make an impact, stretching out the longest distance test ever. Now, that can help her. I guess. She was too late in her last 3 defeats, so the longer distance, the better opportunity she has. She's coming off a second-place performance in the Grade 1 Rodeo Drive where she lost to Basilica. Basilica would be a long shot in this race. Let's move on to the 5, Princess Yiza out of Ireland at 30-1. Jockey Andrea Atzeni, trainer Gavin Cromwell. All 3 of her wins occurred when stalking the pace. She got her first Group 1 victory. Now they're Group 1s in Europe and Grade 1s in North America. She won her first Group 1 victory in that last race. She finished second twice in her only 2 attempts at today's distance or longer. Consistent horse. Have to go back to May 9th when racing on a synthetic surface to see a dull race. This is a big class step, a big step up in class. She won her last race at Grade 2 in France at 1 mile and 9/16. So she may not actually like the cutback in distance. She may like longer races. I love that she's on first-time Lasix, but I will be keeping Princess Yiza off. But at 30-1, dangerous long shot. Let's move on to the favorite, Sister Charlie out of Ireland at 3-1. Jockey Johnny Velasquez, trainer Chad Brown, high buyer of 104. This is a deep closer. Another who needs a clean trip and a pace meltdown to take this, stretching out to the longest distance test ever, but that should help her cause. Very consistent horse, 4 straight 101 or over buyers. Wow. Head and neck from being 5 for 5 in North America. She overcame a very slow pace to win in her latest against 3 of these foes. She's not raced since August 11th, but a horse that comes from the back to be able to overcome a very slow pace. Sister Charlie's a very dangerous horse that should be used in your exotics. Now the 7, Smart Choice out of Argentina. A very interesting long shot here at 30-1. Trainer Todd Pletcher, and that's why Pletcher makes this so interesting. Jockey Flavian Pratt. He's going to rally from mid-pack. That's what she did in her latest when she won her first score of 2018. She's been off for more than 6 months. Now, Todd Pletcher's a Hall of Famer. I'm sure he can get her ready to go. She likes very long distances. Trainer Pletcher being superb with runners first time in his barn, 28% since 2017. She pulled off a 20-1 upset last out in Peru, but that was back on the 24th of June. We rarely see Todd Pletcher with a proving horse. He must see something in her, but this is too big of a class jump. But again, at 30-1 or higher, dangerous long shot. Now we get to the 8, Furiously Kissed at 30-1. Jockey Tyler Gaffalioni. God, I keep messing up Gaffalioni. And trainer Anthony Cartolo. High buyer of 89. This is a deep closer. Never raced as far as today's 11 furlong distance, but her style suggests that this should work for her, that she wants the extra yards. She returned to Churchill Downs grass in her lone start over today's surface. She returns to Churchill Downs grass. Now, the last time she returned, it wasn't very good. It was a 9th place finish in 2016. This is too big of a class jump. Her speed ratings don't place her in this group. She seems to be more of a dirt horse even. I'm off her. The 9, A Raving Beauty out of Germany. We're seeing more German-bred horses these days at 10-1. Jockey Javier Castellano, trainer Chad Brown, high buyer of 102. Projects to be a mid-pace presence. It's gone gate to wire before at 1 mile. Stretching out, and I don't think Raving Beauty's going to like stretching out. This might be the wrong distance for her. When she stretched out in Europe, she didn't love it. Almost beat Sister Charlie in the Grade 1 Diana 3 starts back. Raving Beauty is a dangerous horse. I will be leaving off my exotics. Magic Wand, the 10 horse out of Ireland at 5-1. I'm loving this horse. Now, it's got that jockey-trainer combination that we've been talking about. Ryan Moore, Aidan O'Brien, 1 for 5 in races at today's distance or longer, including a Group 2 score in Europe. Big style change in recent losses. Both wins occurred when racing on the lead, but she rallied from back in her latest. And I expect, because of those laws, I expect her to be closer to the pace. She's a first-time Lasix user. I think that will help. Loves longer distances, is extremely dangerous horse here. We talked about the battles that she's run with Wild Illusion. Magic Wand beat Wild Illusion at a very, very long race at 1.5 miles and then lost to Magic Illusion at 1.25 miles. I think she's going to like 1 mile and 3/8. She's going to be rolling late. I love Magic Wand, the 10 horse at 5-1. Now the 11, Mom's on Strike at 20-1. Jockey Adam Bastiza, trainer Joe Sharp, high buyer of 96, returns to Churchill Downs turf, where in 2017 she raced well on less than firm turf. Remember, that's going to be the same type of turf we're dealing with on Saturday, a deep closer. She has showed her stamina winning at longer races, but she's dealing with a giant class jump. Just lost back-to-back races to Lucky Escape, where everything seemed to go her way. It was set up perfectly for her to win. May have been distracted. Joe Sharp is adding blinkers for this one. Mom's on Strike is interesting, but I think there's some other long shots that I find more appealing. Let's get to the 12. Santa Monica out of Great Britain, 15-1. Jockey Jose Ortiz, trainer Jad Brown, high buyer of 100. 2 of her 3 wins have come at longer distances than this. Had everything go her way in her last race, a Grade 1 EP Taylor up at Woodbine, and was run down by European Chica Rica. There are better horses in this race than Chica, so I'm going to keep Santa Monica off of my card. Athena is the 13 at 15-1. Wayne Lorden is the jockey, trainer Aidan O'Brien, high buyer of 97, a deep closer. Grade 1 has won Grade 1 on USA grass at shorter distances than today's event. Ranked behind the top contenders, she lost to Magic Wand and Wild Illusion in her last race and in her only start at 11 furlongs or longer during her whole career. She likes to run shorter distances. She came to North America this summer. It was very exciting. She came for 2 races, started with the Belmont Oaks against other 3-year-olds, and she ran. She looked awesome. She won at 10-1. She won going away. Then she stepped up against older horses, and it was tough. She'll meet those horses again today. It was in the Beverly D. She came 7th. She was 3 1/4 lengths back of Sister Charlie. She faced Wild Illusion and Magic Wand last out in the Grade 1 in France and placed 8th. But just 3 3/4 lengths back, so not a terrible 8th. But that's a tough spot to run against these horses again. She went off in that race at 51-1. Show what a long shot she was. And then finally we get to the 14th horse, Ezira. Ireland, 15-1. Frankie Dettori and trainer Dermont Weld. A versatile runner, rallied from last to first to score 3 back, but most of her wins occurred when rallying from mid-pack. No stamina concerns. She's won 3 races at longer distances than today. The knock against her is she's never been able to win a Group 1 or, just a Group 1 in 2 other attempts in Europe. First time Lasix, that could help. This is a live long shot. Had a strong showing 2 races back in the Grade 1 or Group 1, Darley, Yorkshire Oaks in England. She placed 3rd. Came back in a Grade 2 in Ireland and won. She handles distance with no problem. This is a very tough post, but it's a long race. She'll try to move to the rail and save ground. She's a dangerous long shot. That's the 14, and that is the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.